I guess with motivation as in some things that that I don't know, it's not even drive. The word motivation itself kind of became like a little like lot different from I don't know the original meaning actually. I need to research about this, but um, I think more and more people start using the word um, like motivation to do some things, and I think because we are in a day and age where a lot of the people are really focused on like what they love to do or what's their passion is, and we just base so much on those idea that you have something you are creative, then you have to be special, and that's continually being taught in not only like educational environment but also in the society wise, outside of like schools or everything that can teach you something in a ideological way. And I think that's where the problem with motivation comes from. A lot of the time where you get a struggle of not having a motivation to do what you want to do and what you think that you are good at or love doing, or wanted to do, such as drawings, like to be good at drawings. um, I think people, I see this a lot in Twitters or even people around me that they don't have a motivation to like do those things or practice. And if just looking at other people draw, maybe like with the same age as the person who's saying it, and say like, okay, I wasted so much times doing something else, that instead of doing something wasteful like doing playing video games all days, if I did something that improved my technical, um, to enhance my specialties, that can connect to the jobs or real acceptance to a lot of the social standard, such as drawing very well. Like, why didn't I do that? And all these years of high school, I've wasted everything for that. And, I didn't get anything. Like, you're never gonna get, um, like, first place in the world champion for video games because you have to do something else, or you're not very that willing in video games that you are playing. And instead of that, if I just practice drawings or something like what some people did do on Twitters, then maybe I get lots of recognitions or self esteem in a way, for yourself and from others. And why didn't I do that? And people get really depressed about their their life in general of wasting everything that you might gained more if you tried to do sort of things to sorting things together. There's I think different reasons for telling that. I thought of two things that pops into my mind when I talk about this. I guess the first one that I thought that you get expectation that you have something you love, and it's been like hurried, and because you have a time to think about that, you get um, um, you don't have time to sort your things out of deciding or analyzing yourself to know what you are good at or what you love. And people don't tell you how to find those things exactly, with a step-to-step kind of um, teaching. So people get really confused, and by the confusion, they waste time doing nothing, and that gonna make them really depressed more. And just starting to not care about it anymore and hating it. I think the second one that I kind of popped into my mind is that I think people know that they are better than what they are right now by hearing that why did I waste my time and not doing such things meaningful. Then maybe I could be more better qualified human being than what I am right now. And by saying that, it's automatically due to that you are better than what you are, and the reason why it's not good in your state, current situations, that you didn't work enough to fit or follow your instincts. Because what people say about motivation is that they know that it's not good for them to waste time watching YouTube or playing games that you are not even interested in, and even not, feel guilty of doing such things. And people know that and kind of recognize that, so that it made them kind of feel more and more self-beating, self-abusing for themselves. And in that case, what motivation, this illusion of having a motivation comes in because they a lot of the time blame motivation for not doing something that they think that it's right. And it's kind of similar to what is called, such as like ADHD, or just general, general terms that it is super complicated. However, people take it really in the general side of it and simplify them to make them into a way to talk logically things out in a matter of causality or fate. And motivation is such kind of similar to those illusions of blame, that motivation or something that some form, it's like magic, like it's that mysterious force that kind of drive your actions in a way, kind of like energy of doing some things. And I thinking back, did I was wondering if I depend on motivation, like lacking of motivation. It did really affect me, but I never get something back exactly, like my experience, good experience or good outcome from doing something out of motivation. I don't really have that. Remembering back on many times, a lot of the things that wasn't driven fully by what is called motivation, such as you are motivated from start, basically, like you are motivated to kind of can't wait to start these things, and can't wait to do it again tomorrow or something. That's kind of what motivation sounds like from many people, and what I grasp out of it. But remembering back the things that I value, or being a value of differentiating or establishing myself as some works or creators and other things, it wasn't really driven by motivation, or I started anyways without any motivation. And then that's all kind of coincidence. It can be a coincidence, but the things that I regret, or things that I could have done better, or some negative side, it also comes in with not having a motivation. So thinking back, I feel like there's nothing that relates to motivation about everything. And I started to think about what motivation is, which is right now I was starting to think, because I haven't scripted this or anything. So, but more and more I thought about motivation. It's like it's so it's so simplified form of, something to blame for. And if when you start to think about these things more and more, it really comes down to like, then what is motivation? And I can't really um, have an answer for that, because I think it's it's not only that it's, not very true. It's not the things that is being simplified by saying motivation. It's so complicated that even, some scientists couldn't even, not yet being discovered, or cannot be explored. Maybe it's explored but not fully grasped by even the smartest people who's working on it. And to understand that, it's kind of harder for a lot of the normal mind like me to even grasp the logical sense to their research. Uh, and then I think by thinking that, you know, all these times we think of this motivation, because I did say a lot of things about motivation, and I heard people think, well, it's not about motivation, and like I did it anyway, so that's where I came from. It's not that I have any motivation from better than other people or anything, but I just heard people say they started anyways. Maybe it's a luck. Maybe they have great environment, or some, luck involved with it of starting. Maybe that's kind of relating to luck, but more and more they don't have much motivation for everything. Some people have, of like doing that as a living, or doing that for somebody. um, in that case, that can be a motivation. But for normal people, what we call it motivation as um, inner conflict, or inner energy, because a lot of the things that they have to do, like works, like there's no things about like motivation in like starting to, finish your jobs, or, to be paid, or doing something that maybe other people might die or something. That's not for motivation exactly. Maybe to keep doing that, you need some kind of motivation for it, but that's the outside force that drives you to do those things. But motivation a lot of the time is talking about inner side, in a way. And more I think about it, it's it's nothing really that holds up to that. And by thinking that, I realized that motivation might not be existed. Like, what about other things that I thought was existing, but maybe it's not existing at all?